And good evening, Facebook Live and YouTube Live once again. Welcome to what we've affectionately called the pre-business on Whiskey Business before we actually get ready to record.
I just got a text from Rudy from High Bank, and he's like, "Hey, where are you guys?" He's on our Facebook page waiting for us to go live.
We're here, getting ready to have what I think is going to be just a great time tonight.
There we go.
There you go.
All
three
right.
amazingly funny ladies, Nickey Winkelman, Sarah Storer, Amber Falter, joining us on the podcast tonight. So that's amazing to get those three available in one evening, let alone on Whiskey Business tonight. So we're going to have a lot of fun with them as the night goes on, as we move forward in a positive direction, I hope, with everything. Thanks to everybody who's tuning in thus far. Looking forward to a fun night. Good to see John Whitney. Good to see Staplehead, Greg Hansberry. For those of you
Staples come out on Thursday.
For those of you who don't know what the Staples are, he had a skateboarding accident last week and had 5 or 6 staples put into his head.
6.
Yeah. You seem a lot more rested and than you did last week. Last week you look like you were hurting, but what a trooper, man! You still did.
It was all the way up to about till Monday, till yesterday. I woke up with a little bit of a headache, and
concussions will do that.
I'm having my first cocktail since the accident.
That's nice. Oh, you're welcome back, cocktail. Welcome back.
But we're talking about this. I kind of want to pull the Staples out myself. I think I can handle it.
No, don't make it the stupid stay at home. 2 weeks in a row. The stay at home mistake of the week. 2 weeks in a row. I took out my own Staples.
Yeah. It's a shredded scalp.
Removing your own stitches, remove my own kidney. Thanks to everybody who's with us so far this evening. Some of our regulars. Chip is there. Hello, Chip. Hello, Rick Andreessen. Cassie Sleeper watching on YouTube on my TV.
Cool.
God, I hope it's not a really big screen. That would be frightening. But we got a great show for you tonight. And the ladies are going to be amazing to talk with. They got a variety of things to talk with them about. And each one of them, the reason that we've chosen to each have a different and unique perspective on life in general. So I'm looking forward to that in a big way. So is there anything else that in the pregame that we need to discuss? Or are you boys ready technically on your end to get things started?
We have no Amber yet, but
you want to wait for Amber? You want to make sure she gets back on? Yeah, well, Amber was switching browsers, so we had a little bit of technical difficulties.
I don't know if it's going to change anything. We could go. I don't know.
We'll wing
it. Up to you.
You know what? I'd be more comfortable making sure she's got the browser hooked up.
We'll wait a couple minutes. Yeah,
that's no problem. It's no problem. Yeah. No problem at all.
Okay.
Are you guys gonna rush out on Friday to your favorite patio restaurant?
Are we? I don't know.
I don't know.
I haven't thought about it yet.
We'll talk about it more on the podcast. But
the weather's supposed to be shitty too.
And that's good. Yeah. It's Columbus. They say a threat of a thunderstorm. That means nothing.
I'm gonna have an umbrella. I don't care.
All I know is it's supposed to frost tonight, so bring in your little plants and veggies and herbs you have planted outside, or wait till tomorrow, and then we should be in the clear.
Your plants
and herbs. This is your garden talk with Greg. Did I ever tell you my very first job in radio? I was the phone screener for a call-in show for a home and garden call-in show. And this guy would always call in and prank, and he'd call in and he'd be like, "Yeah, I got a question. I got a burning bush. My bush is burning." And I'd be like, "Okay, yeah, cool, man. It's Steve." And I'd put him through, and then he'd get through online on the radio. And he'd be like, "Hey guys, I got a burning bush. It's on fire." And he's like, "It's like and then he would just go on. And I was totally clueless. I was like, and all the hosts were just looking at me like, another burning bush.
Another burning bush. I haven't heard that one before, but it was your first time. Rudy says he's going to be serving drinks on the patio at High Bank. Rain or shine.
We're going to bring Amber back real quick to make sure everything's working. Here
okay, cool. Let's
Hi, Amber.
Check.
Hi.
You can hear everybody? You can hear me?
So.
You can hear me? You can hear Greg? You can hear? Oh, beautiful.
Roll call.
Yeah, oh my gosh, we've done it. Thanks for your patience, guys.
Hi. No problem.
Everybody. Okay, good. All right.
Those three lovely ladies, they will be joining us here in just a couple of minutes on Whiskey Business. So now that we got everybody hooked up proper,
right. I'm sending you guys back to the green room. Okay.
Back to our virtual green room to start the show. Many thanks to everybody who have joined us already on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So thank you. We'll do the cold open to record, and then I'll do the opening, and off we go to the races. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Cold open. As we start to see a little daylight in this pandemic, who has survived it better? Men or women? We'll hear from three amazingly funny women about that, and trust me, a whole hell of a lot more tonight on Whiskey Business.
Nice.
All right, and now the open. Ready? How you doing? I wanted you guys to be the first to know that come Friday, I'm a free man. I'm a free man. I'm busting out of this joint. And I'm going to become a functioning member of society once again. That's right. I'm going to put a few dollars in my pocket, maybe go to a restaurant patio of my choosing, should I choose to. I don't know, maybe get a shave and a haircut on Friday, or one of them mani pedis that I hear so much about. Maybe the mani, not the pedi. I don't like my own feet. I'm not going to subject somebody else to them. So that one remains to be seen. Maybe do a little retailing. Go to my favorite knick-knack store, pick up a knick, pick up a knack, whatever the case might be. I don't know. The point is, I'm a free man on Friday, and you can't keep me locked up anymore, Warden. I'm free to choose wherever I want to go. Should I choose to go? Is it too soon? I don't know. Is it too soon? Or has it been too long that I think it's too soon? I am a riddle wrapped in my own freaking enigma. Hi, I'm Dino Tripodis, and welcome to Whiskey Business, the podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey. And yes, the one thing I did say is true. Daylight is opening. The world is opening cautiously and with apprehension, but opening nonetheless. You know what? I compare it to, and this is once again a stretch, it's like the Lenten season at Easter had started all over again. For those of you who are good Catholics and follow the Lenten season, you know what you're supposed to do. When Lent rolls around, you're supposed to sacrifice and give something up. Well, instead of the Lenten season, it was the COVID season. Oh, what'd you give up for COVID? Pretty much my life in general, as I know and love it. But now we have a chance to bounce back. So are we? I don't know. But tonight, we're not going to talk so much about how you doing through all this. We know how we're all doing through all this. What we're going to discuss tonight is moving forward and what the future may hold. Because, yeah, it's still a freaking scary place to be. And, of course, we appreciate everybody who's joining us on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. And, of course, I can't do the podcast without the two gentlemen that make everything happen on a weekly basis. Greg Hansberry on the audio side, and John Whitney. There he is, the handsome, lanky, tall drink of water. That is John Whitney. Our guest bottle tonight on the show. I always turn it the wrong way. Tonight on the show, Nickey Winkelman, Sarah Storer, Amber Falter. 3 amazingly funny women will be joining us. So it's only appropriate that the guest bottle tonight was a bottle of Widow Jane for this evening. Yes.
Apropos, I love it.
Widow Jane, right? So yeah, much the ladies.
Nice choice.
Like,
Nice choice.
The ladies, much like the whiskey itself, smooth, intoxicating, and could kill a man if consumed excessively. It's a nice single barrel whiskey that is made in Kentucky, but it's the water, the lime water comes from New York, and they proof it with lime water from New York, which gives it an interesting taste. It is pretty smooth. It's expensive. It's about $69 to $79 a bottle.
Yeah,
and I don't think it's worth that price. It's smooth, and it has some nice notes, tasting notes, and a decent nose. But for $69, I expect a better finish. And so.
I'm not going there.
But it's good. It's good.
It's weird because normally I thought they make. I mean, that's why Kentucky is the mecca of whiskey and bourbon making, is because of the limestone water and stuff.
And this one comes from the limestone water comes from New York. Go figure.
Go figure. It's different.
But it's different. It's good. I don't know if it's $69 good. So that is our guest bottle for this evening. Before we bring the ladies on, Greg Hansberry. Oh, let's see what the other boys are drinking. Good point, Johnny. A little Russell's Reserve, 10-year. Can't go wrong with that.
Good
fine choice. Hansberry.
I'm still on the lower shelf.
Oh, I love that stuff.
VOB.
It's the lower shelf. It's the lower shelf, but it's still a good shelf. Yeah. So good for you. Hansberry, a little bit of business before we bring on the ladies.
Quarantine with us, whiskey business. Of course, subscribe on your favorite podcasting app. And we've been doing this for it seems like forever now. So we've got a whole archive that you can go back and check out. Just rate and review us on iTunes or TuneIn or iHeart, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. We're also on YouTube, where you might be watching us right now. Thank you very much. Subscribe to us if you haven't, and you can click on the little bell, and that will send you notifications whenever we have a new episode that pops up. What else here? Facebook. Subscribe to us on Facebook. Share. If you're watching right now, share our live stream. We appreciate your comments. They pop up over here on the side. Rudy's been chiming in. All of our buddies, Ralphie, and Chip, and everybody. Thanks, guys.
Oh, Rudy says the limestone water is a myth.
He would know.
He would know. Okay. They're duping us.
Find us. Find more everything on whiskeybusinesspod.com. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Quibi. Is Quibi still a thing?
Quibi
just started. Quibi's still a
We're
thing.
not on Quibi yet? I think we should be on Quibi.
I hear it's failing. I hear Quibi is failing. So
it just started. Give it a chance.
Hey, man, I'm just
because Whiskey Business isn't on it yet.
That's right.
But follow us on all those channels, including our newly designed whiskeybusinesspod.com for all that stuff. Plus, every Wednesday we release a Whiskey Wisdom, which is a fun little funny whiskey wisdom quote that Dino has come up with, and John and his brother and the crew have made these really fun, cool videos, and we've been sharing them on social media every Wednesday. So we have one I think we're gonna share.
We got a new one popping up
tomorrow,
and this is the one that's airing right now.
Yeah, so here we go.
The only real difference between getting drunk with your father as opposed to your mother is that you have far more regret about the fist fight afterwards. Perfect one for Mother's Day. Yeah. Nice. Love you, Ma.
Well done.
You can check all those out either on our website, or you can go to YouTube and check out. That's like number 8, I believe, Johnny, right?
Yes.
Number 8. So there's 7 other ones if you missed them.
Hold on, stop.
You can You can
We're
check
in
those,
autoplay. Sorry, guys.
you can check those out.
Let's watch them all.
So I mentioned in the pre-business that I think it's amazing that we were able to get these three magnificent ladies in one night on one show. So without further ado, let's bring in the ladies, shall we, for what's going to be a fun night on Whiskey Business. Nickey Winkelman, who we miss dearly, Sarah Storer, Nickey Winkelman and Sarah Storer, and for the first time ever with us, not even on the premise or on Whiskey Business, Amber Falter, everybody. Amber Falter. Ladies, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling us magnificent. I've not ever had that before. Thank you.
I say that with all due sincerity. You all are. Amber, I've only got to see you do stand-up one time, and I loved it. And when we did when we had Za Unit and Julia Keefe on, they spoke so highly of you again, and then put your name back into my head that when I was coming up with the idea of having three females on the show, I said, let's try to get Amber. So thank you so much. I love
them. Thank you.
Yeah.
They're such great babes.
And she came with two dogs, so that was nice.
She came with two dogs.
I'm talking about the real dogs. Sorry, guys.
And Sarah and
on the couch.
Sarah and Nickey and Sarah both been on the premise. And Sarah, you have the I think you have the unique standing of actually being a guest all by your lonesome on Whiskey Business.
I have, and what an experience that was.
Which I think is one of my favorite titles. My uterus is a bounce house.
That's right.
That was a good
Yeah.
one.
It was the name of that podcast.
That's right.
That's an actual quote from Sarah herself. We didn't just come up with it. I just wrote it down when she said it and said, that's the name of the podcast.
Yeah.
My uterus, which should also be the name of your autobiography if you ever write one.
It should be that, or My Life Smells Like Regret. And it's fine.
So I'm going to ask one question right out of the gate. Let's get to it because I have a lot of different types of questions for you ladies. But the one I want to ask right out of the box, as it were, is through this whole thing thus far, as we move forward and start to see the daylight of society and getting back to some sort of social normalcy, who do you think has handled the pandemic best, men or women? And let's start with Nickey Winkelman, who has actually, been quarantined with husband and child as well.
Yes. Who do I think is handling it better, men or women? It's tough to say. When I talk to the people that I know, I feel like the women are handling it pretty well.
Why?
When I see pictures of protesters, I question both sides because I've seen some crazy looking women banging down doors and holding signs that they need haircuts. But for the people that are actually accepting this situation, I feel like the women are crushing it. I see them being very productive. I see them doing 30-day outfit challenges, which both Sarah and I did. Sarah have SS Vogue and did a 30-day outfit challenge, which I participated in, which was really fun.
Yeah, I saw those on Instagram. You guys looked lovely, stylish as well. Incredible. Sarah and Amber, what do you think, men or women, through all this in the interactions that you've had on social media and whatnot? Because men, let's be honest, we're if we get, before all this happened, if we got so much as a cold, we thought it was the death of us, with our significant others. I'm so sick. Can you make me soup? Whatever. We're just big fucking babies. So I'm curious as to whether or not that has translated into this, or do you think the men have, stepped up? And
I think as in all things, women are just better at faking it. So I think perhaps we're all doing equally poorly or great. But women are maybe a little bit better about putting on a good face.
Yeah.
Yeah, and why the good face though? Why do you feel the need to put on a good face and not actually be honest with your feelings and emotions? I mean, if there was ever a time where you could be honest and let your guard down, I would think that now would be it.
Sure.
Amber, what do you think?
I'm not gonna say. I guess I don't really. All I have to really base my how men have been acting would be my dad and my brothers, who I still work with. Unfortunately, and fortunately, we still have an essential business that we are running. It's they're just such assholes to be around. I can't. So they're not taking it well. I, on the other hand, am doing fucking great. I am fine. I'm getting very crafty, and I'm walking my dogs, and I'm trying to stay busy. So I think I'm just on the creative side of things right now, which is great. And my brothers are jerks.
Yeah, and you got the two dogs. Let's who else has animals? Dogs.
They were real. I was actually talking about canines.
I mentioned this in an earlier podcast when we were going through this. The dogs win. The dogs have won through this whole thing. And the cats too. All right, Whitney.
What?
Crazy cat.
You can't forget the cat.
Sarah's on a mission.
The dogs have won. Sarah's gonna go get her dog. The dogs have won.
Away.
They
Oh my God, that dog!
Oh, look at that one. Look at that one. What are the names of the dogs? I gotta know.
This is Phoebe. She is the cutest thing in the whole world.
Oh my God, she's adorable. She almost doesn't look real.
She's real. And she has been my inspiration through all of this because she sleeps about 20 hours a day.
Oh,
awesome.
Good.
And
That's
eats.
great.
So that's what she does.
If I could do that, it's a success. I think I have one of those things in the shower. It's like the I could wash with.
Do you have a Phoebe?
I have a Phoebe in the shower. Yeah.
These ladies are making this podcast classy. Finally, says
I don't know.
Miller. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I agree. And Amber, your dogs, we said one was a rescue when we were doing a little pre-talk earlier.
Yeah, this is George Michael. He's a sleepy, sweet, big idiot.
Nice.
And then the rescue is the fat turd on the back. And yeah, she came from a trailer park. She's her name is Tiny, and she ruins my life, but I love her. So
Ruins your life.
She's great. Yeah. They're really great, but
your guys are frenemies.
Yes.
I've noticed one thing. As we've gone through all this, and I've seen this from all three of you, that despite the fact that they took away our stages, our live stages, be they shadow box or other stages, you three ladies have managed to stay out there and perform and to do what you do. So how has that shaped you or changed you or made you better performers? Amber.
Better.
Amber, because I gotta be honest with you, it seems like you're out there doing something like you're like on 3 different shows 5 nights a week. You're bouncing all over the place. I mean, I can't, and I say this, with admiration. I can't click on the Instagram without you're doing a show. It feels like when we cut away, you're probably doing another show while you're doing this. I don't know. You were doing a show before you came on with your business tonight, were you not?
I was. That's why I was so behind on actually getting my computer fixed up. So what I've learned, I've had a great time. I did have the itch to be doing something or producing something. And I think I put myself in a spot where I'm like, oh yeah, I don't know how iPads work. So I'm just a big dumb idiot trying to navigate stuff I should have learned in freshman year of high school. But it's been fun. So yeah, I'm just trying to stay busy and say yes to a lot. I feel like it's all really new for a lot of comedians and people, and I'm just happy to experiment with everyone and try to keep laughing. But my stand-up show is online. I fucking hate it.
Well, that was another question. We've talked to some of the male stand-ups, all people Jason Banks and Dan Swartout, and they don't want any part of it. They miss that that interaction with the audience. It says it fucks up their timing. So have you compensated for that? Sarah, have you been doing any stand-up online or Nickey,
no.
or any improvisational stuff online?
We've done some improv online, and with great hesitation because people already hate improv already.
Not true. Not everybody.
No, but people who haven't seen it before, if this is your first experience of it, it's such a crapshoot. There's not going to be any middle ground. You're going to love it or you're going to hate it. So we really didn't want to come back until we could figure out our tech and at least run. And this has been a philosophy of ours from the jump. If we can at least run a professional looking show, maybe you'll forgive any other shit we actually do that you don't like. So we've done some shows. It's been fine. We've really tried to utilize the medium as it is. So lots of using the live chat through the show. We literally have our audience type applause in it so that we know that they're clapping. I'm not kidding. We really do that.
That's
and
a
it
good
helps.
tip. Come on, Whiskey Business fans, please.
It helps.
Maybe they can let us know a gauge of how drunk they are,
Right.
And Nickey, you've done the quiz show on this platform as well. And how did that work out? The quiz show, by the way, is so much fun. I got a chance to do it and I had a blast. And how's it working out on this platform?
The quiz box honestly lends itself so well to this format because it's very interactive between two people. I have also not done any stand-up on streaming because I also need an audience. But Quizbox being a podcast, I wasn't sure how I was going to go without an audience, but it works really well. And we may just keep it this way. I don't know. We don't know what we're going to do with it or if when it will ever come back live. I mean, of course we want to do it live again, but we think we found a new home for it because it works really, really well. We have, contestants one-on-one with the host who asks the trivia questions. And then I come on in between to give scores. And I've just been loving it.
I think we're going to find more of that, stuff that sticks and works better this way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this, ladies. Being performers and entertainers, and with everything that's been going on, do you feel like you have a responsibility to use your talents at a time like this, or is it a necessity for all of you to use your talents in order to keep your sanity or your edge? Which one is it, or both? Sarah.
I maybe have the doom and gloom answer on this, which is no, I don't feel like I have a responsibility, and no, I don't feel like I'm a necessity either. It is so much easier to watch The Office for the 9th time than to watch some floating heads. And I'm not saying that in a mean way to anything that's going on. It's just, it's different. And I think it's a big ask. Not that people don't want to support you, and I think that they do, but I also understand that my little improv show for 60 minutes isn't nearly as important as our health and our jobs and all of these things. So if you want to tune in, cool. It's really not going to hurt my feelings at all if you don't, because I get it. I don't know that I would tune in. I would rather be high right now.
So are you doing it because you're asked to, or are you doing it because you want to?
A little bit of both. It is a want, and it's a want on the part of the cast. It's fun for us to get together to do stuff. And then what we found is that our audiences have been so kind and so generous in supporting us that way as well. But I don't know for me if it's a long-term sustainable thing to do comedy this way. This isn't why I got into the business.
No. I imagine none of us, for that matter. But Amber and Nickey, Amber first, a responsibility to use your talents or a necessity?
Go ahead.
Did you say,
Amber?
Go ahead.
I wasn't listening. So I think when everything shut down, I was like, that's fine. I need a break. I'm so behind on things. I have new ideas for shows. I could probably use the break. But I think I really like Sarah's answer because I'm no one's going to miss me. I shouldn't feel obligated to do this. And it isn't the same thing as what I was doing, producing stand-up shows and whatnot. But I just didn't want to go crazy. And I kind of took this as a moment to kind of explore a different medium. And one show that I am doing weekly is I'm doing it 3 times a week for the most part. I'm just interviewing one friend. And I want to get better at that format. I want to be better at like interviewing one person for that amount of time, and not just making it entertaining for my guests, but anybody who does happen to tune in. And I've been really surprised with the response, and it's like small, and sometimes it's just a couple people, but sometimes that's the most fun that I have is with that one person and 5 people watching. And I just had the best night. So it's keeping me sane and happy, and it's challenging me in a different way.
And I'm Nickey, I left you for last because right before all this happened, you actually stepped back from performing and kind of.
I'm sorry, I'm distracted because my toddler is having a full-on meltdown in the background, and I don't hear it.
That's okay. That's all right. You need to go. You need to go take care of it, or
no.
Okay.
His dad's taking care of it.
All right.
Just
so you kind of. You stepped back right before all this happened and kind of took a break. So would that question even relate to you at this point as far as the responsibility? Because now you're popping up on the social platforms with QuizBox and so forth and so on. So
well, it always been a plan for me to continue doing QuizBox, at least in some capacity. We had talked about getting some guest scorekeepers for me if it was just too much for me to be on stage. But really what I needed a break from was the stage. And I needed a break from the interaction with all of the people. I've been dealing with my own mental health, and it's the interacting with audience members in person after shows that was getting to be too much for me. So this is perfect because I'm like,
you got it. Your wish came true. You got your break, and so did everybody else.
Yeah.
On this level, on the podcast level, we were discussing what to do, and do we go remote? Do we take a hiatus? And we decided we would try the remote thing, and we keep trying to make it better with each passing week. But once again, like you mentioned with QuizBox, this is a podcast, so it's slightly different, and each week is different depending on the guests. And tonight is amazing already as far as I'm concerned because the 3 of you being here. So staying in the realm of the pandemic as we go on, I'm gonna ask you all 3 about the 7 deadly sins.
Which of you?
Yes. Which and throughout
good segue,
all this,
Dino. Nice.
Oh yeah. I'm the king of bad segues. Which have you been more prone to going through all this? Gluttony, lust, rage, jealousy, sloth, greed, or pride?
Ooh, I would say for sure it's been a nice toss up between gluttony and sloth, and that is how I'm coping. And everyone else can fuck themselves because Mama needs a snack and a nap.
I'm gonna go with pride all the way.
Pride?
Yeah.
Pride? Why pride?
Because I'm so sick of all these whiny babies, and I'm so proud of how well I'm doing, and I'm right out there to like tell people, you need to. It's not been that long. When people were saying day 790, when it was day 8, I was like, shut up. So maybe it's a little bit of rage and a little bit of pride.
A little bit of pride.
But,
Amber?
Yeah, but I'm proud of how I'm doing. And, yeah.
So when you guys did the style show, the different outfits, did that was in the sense pride, and I don't know what else. I don't know. I think it would fall into any other sins. It wasn't
a sin. No,
it wasn't a sin. No, it's pride. You were proud, but you were proud of what you did.
Fashion is not a sin.
Yeah, I don't know that I was even proud of what I did. That was literally like survival. Like, I better shower today because I need to take a picture of my outfit. I'm not kidding. Like that got me through for 30 days. I am not one of those who has been doing very well. I just haven't been vocal about it.
But if there was ever a time for sloth and gluttony to rise above the fray and be accepted, this has been it, right?
Sloth is saving lives right now. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, this has been like the pass. If there was ever a time for a pass to be slothful and gluttonous, I would say so. Amber, what about you? Did any of those ring true?
All these are great answers, girls. I think whatever says that I'm being very forgiving of who my truth is. I'm like finding out more and more about who I really am. And I'm just being very, I guess maybe some pride and proud of who I am, even though I'm realizing I'm psychotic and unstable. And whatever adds up to, I've never loved Big Mac more. I get so many Big Macs and I don't judge myself. So gluttony, yeah, I lust Big Macs.
I had my first Big Mac in like 2 years the other day. It was a religious experience.
Good. It was good. Yeah.
Welcome to the top.
When you say psychotic and unstable, do you consider yourself to have been psychotic and unstable before all this happened?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. and has it tempered it, increased it, or stabilized it?
I think now that I just have more free time and I'm very like, I've just always been like, oh, there's like adult things to do. Don't like have fun and like do whatever you want. But now I'm like, who gives a shit? And I'm like watercoloring with my hands and I'm doing weird. I picked up a skateboard the other day. I'm trying to skateboard. I'm just living my life. I don't care. I'm going to die one day anyway. So.
As an outsider watching Amber, I can say that it is nourishing her psychotic and crazy.
Okay,
in a beautiful way. She's honing her psychotic and crazy in the most beautiful way.
Thank you, Nickey.
That's what I see, and I'm loving it.
I'm loving it.
No. Are any of you like me? Were you unconsciously, by mistake, found out that what the fuck? I'm kind of built for isolation. I like it. This isn't so bad. When I hear Nickey, you were talking about people whining like, I miss going out and I miss it. Oh, and I hear some people say, "Won't it be great when we can all get together and all hang out and be with our friends?" And I'm like, will it be that great? Or do we really need this? Do we need to spend that much time together with one another? I'm not so sure.
It'll be great for me when I can get a break from the two people I've been with this whole time.
And one of them is a toddler.
Oh yeah,
we're all rubbing it in Nickey's face. Let's relax. No, but I feel you, Dino. I feel like for me, it's been like really awesome to have an excuse to not see people I don't want in my life.
Yeah, it's built in. It's like, oh yeah, man, I really miss you too. Not so much.
I'm too much of a coward to tell them otherwise, but this has been like, I guess we can't be friends.
And now that excuse is starting to run out as things start to open up. So in this brave new world that is this week here in Ohio and in other parts of the country as well, how are you ladies stepping forward? Will you step forward with a big stride and go, there we go, or are you kind of reluctant?
Hails no.
Nope.
What?
Nope. So I am one of the high risk people. I know that sounds like real dumb to say, but I do have asthma and it's been horrible this spring and summer. And so I am it's just spring. It's not summer yet. So I'm still a little on the terrified side, and I don't want to be around people at all. So I will continue supporting restaurants how I can from afar. Thank you.
It's fine. Nickey, Amber?
Uber Eats is awesome.
No, we're staying in.
Staying in?
But, yep. Not changing anything. If anything, I'm going to protect harder because I feel like there's going to be another spike. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, and plus you've got your husband, you got your kid, you got Flynn, you got, you've got a lot of other things to think about. And not that I'm saying that you ladies don't have other things to think about. You have families, you have dogs, you have pets. Those are family members as well. I Amber, are you itching to step out there, or is your excuse for not having to see people being taken away?
I'm gonna ride it out. I'm gonna stay in. I'm gonna I just have I work with a lot of older people too, because we are essential and we are taking a million precautions and doing our very, very best, which is lovely. But it is a scary thing to think that I could be selfish enough to go out like to a bar and like have one drink, and then like kill half my family staff my grandfather hired. I really hate to do that. And yeah. So I just want to like, take as much time as we need for everything to feel really, really safe and respect everyone's boundaries with that. And I don't know, keep doing the live streams and fun stuff like this. So
it's interesting to hear the perspective from the ladies, because when I talk to some of my guy friends, they're all itching to get out there. I've got friends that golf, and they've been out there golfing and doing their version of safe distancing. But some of these guys can't wait to go out and get on a patio this Friday. Like, you coming? I'm like, yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, sure.
But Amber, on a patio for 40 days straight. You just
no doubt.
I wanted to ask Amber, this is kind of a related question, because you're you mentioned it before, you work with two jerks. You said your brother,
they're fine.
But your family is Falter Meats, Herman Falter Meats, which has been an institution in Central Ohio for like 100 freaking years. And
yes,
right. And we're in a meat shortage. So, what's it been like? When you say you work with, you actually go there and work every day at Falter Meats?
Yes, I do.
So I never thought that I would ask another comedian a meat question, but how are your meats?
They are wonderful.
And how much of them do you have? And is the meat shortage something that is concerning? I mean, Wendy's runs out of hamburgers. How does that happen?
It's interesting. We have been around for a long time, but we don't really supply too far out of like the greater Columbus area. So we a lot of restaurants would cut their orders in half, or they entirely shut down, or whatnot. But we also we got really lucky in the way that a lot of the small grocers that all over Ohio that have always bought our product needed more, which was really interesting, because we were really scared as a small business that was already crumbling and kind of dying. So it's been crazy, but it's fun, and I'm really proud of my family. Like, my dad has always worked his ass off anyway, but to see the way that we can adapt as a small business and as a small family, like, it's been really cool. So I'm lucky to be a part of it.
Is your freezer full of meat?
No, I hardly ever cook meat. I really don't.
It figures.
I was just poor I was just poor for so long that I just eat beans. And then if I go out, I have like a steak like once every 2 years.
How's that? You're telling me you can't walk down to Falter Meats and pick yourself up a freezer full of meat anytime you want and put it in the fridge?
I could, but then I'd have to cook it, and that sounds hard.
Just got beef flavored ramen.
I don't want to. I'm lazy.
Interesting.
I just want to eat pizza and Big Macs.
This is a lot of Big Mac talk tonight.
Who's lost weight? During all this?
I have.
You have?
Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. Seriously? On purpose or by accident?
Some of both. I stopped eating fast food. Mostly because I don't trust the cleanliness.
Fair.
She's not wrong. It's gross.
And also because I'm not out anymore. Like, I used to, when I would do shows, I would like go and get fast food after the show, or I was like eating, food at the shows. And like now we're cooking all the time and trying to cook healthier. And in the beginning of this, I was like, I have to watch my portions because we must ration all of the food into the
right?
So I dropped a lot in the first few weeks. I've calmed down on some of that, but yeah, and also just like I'm being fairly active with my son and taking walks and trying to stay healthy because I am also afraid of getting sick. And so I feel like if I keep myself healthy, then I'm less likely to be as affected by it if I were to get the virus. So
interesting. I saw the little video of your son. I saw the Instagram video of the new rug that you put in, and him just going.
God.
Don't you wish sometimes that we had that childlike mentality that we could be entertained so easily by just running around on a new carpet endlessly for a half an hour and let that, that's my night. I got a new carpet. Yeah, I'm gonna run around on the carpet for a half an hour, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna run around it the other way, and that's gonna be my night, and I am entertained.
You don't do that. You don't do that.
I do a lot.
I did that.
I do a lot of childlike things when I'm in this house by myself, but I don't have any. I got the hardwood floors here in Clintonville, so I guess I could sock slide anywhere I wanted to.
There you go. A new pair of socks.
Across.
So I watch the exploits of Stubby the squirrel out my window. It's a squirrel that other squirrels have beat up on, and his tail is about that big.
Aww. We got one of those too. Yeah.
Stubby the squirrel.
Poor Stubbs.
I don't know where all of you. I don't know where all of you live per se, but I've had brave deer like I've never seen before manifest and show themselves. There were actually 6 deer just hanging out in my front lawn the other night, and I went out, and they just all looked up like, "What's up, fucker? What are you looking at?" Yeah, it's like, you got a problem with this? We will fuck you up if you make the wrong move. And I was actually kind of nervous. So they were just kind of hanging out. And then the other night when I came home, there was a beautiful deer just laying in the grass. Wow. And it stood up and let me take a picture. And then it went back to the far end of the yard where the backyard bar is. I have a backyard bar. It went back there and just what the hell? I mean, the animals seem to be a lot more comfortable with their surroundings since the people haven't been out.
Oh, yeah. Dino, do you think that last deer was the strongest of all of them, and they had a deer fight, and that one was the only one that survived?
I never thought about it that way.
And then it went to your backyard bar, and it's poured itself a drink because it killed all of its family, and it was proud.
Wow.
That's going to be my new story. Yeah, that's definitely going to be the way I'm going to tell it from now on.
See,
yeah, it killed all the other deer.
That psychotic. She's honing it.
Yeah. I like that.
I'm an idiot.
I like that version way better.
I'm sorry. I'll shut up forever.
No, don't shut up. No, don't shut up at all. Don't shut up at all. So, who's drinking more? And through all this, since we are on whiskey business.
I just had a coffee and a bubble water, but I felt bad, so I have this trash.
There it is.
Let me tell you something. Missy. Let me tell you something. And I say Missy because it's a bottle of Old Crow. Let me tell you something about Old Crow, Missy. As far as bottom shelf liquors go, you got a good one right there. You got a good one. The benchmark.
That's my favorite bottom shelf. There you go.
Benchmark that you won that on the premise.
I lost and got the
benchmark.
That's a win. That's a win,
Buffalo
Nickey.
Trace product.
That is a Buffalo Trace product. Benchmark is the Buffalo Trace product. And
what you got, Sarah?
Oh my God, you got the Kessler. Okay, out of the three shit whiskeys,
we're all from
if you look on the bottle, you can't see it. It says smooth as silk. It is not smooth as silk. It is not smooth as silk at all. That is also a loser bottle, I believe, from the premise.
It was a loser bottle. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Can we all show our bottles?
Yeah, I'm taking a screenshot.
And the Old Crow. Where did you get the Old Crow? Did you get that on? You didn't get that on
the fancy bottle.
I went to Kroger today.
You actually bought that. Yeah, I was gonna say because you've not been on the premise.
I spent money on that. I don't have a lot of money right now.
That had to cost you a whopping, I'm guessing, somewhere between $11 and $13.
It was $12 each.
Ding, 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 ding.
Come on down.
I'm gonna get some ginger
The
ale.
price is right.
Mine just cost me my pride. Losing to Angie Healy, who was quite the winner that night. She was very funny.
Yeah, she was good.
But Sarah,
I haven't opened it.
you haven't opened it. Tell me at least,
She's like,
God damn it, Sarah. Tell me at least you opened up the nice bottle of gin that I promised you.
I
And
did.
It wasn't from that was from Watershed.
Yeah, and I've consumed most of it during this time. It's almost all done.
Yay.
It's delicious. I ran out of mixers pretty early on and then was terrified to go to the grocery store. So I was mixing it with green tea and it was amazing.
Yeah.
with ice?
Yeah, green tea, ice, and then like an orange slice. And it was really lovely.
Damn.
That's
Makes sense.
Yeah.
There
It's
we
good with a
go.
twist of lime as well. It's good with a twist of lime.
Don't tell me what to do.
So let me ask you this, ladies. What have you learned about yourselves?
Too much.
In this, no, seriously. I mean, it becomes a time of introspection. Oh, I like the crack of that. What was that?
Ginger ale for my trash whiskey.
All right.
That's right. I've still got a ginger ale.
So a little bit of introspection. What have you learned about yourselves, if anything at all, for that matter?
I've been in intense therapy for the last several years, and I was even in like a group therapy for the last year, and I learned that I was fucking ready because I'm afraid of everything. And in the group, I remember there was one day that we were talking about what makes us feel unsafe. And for a lot of other people, it was like, oh, I feel unsafe if I can't trust somebody, or I feel unsafe if I feel like somebody might hurt my feelings. And I was like, nuclear warfare, intergalactic conflict, asteroids, like these are the things that I'm afraid of. So like when we got hit with a pandemic, I was like, this is my moment. I got this. I'm ready for this shit. Everybody was like panic buying toilet paper. And I was like, I already have 6 months worth in the basement already.
Oh my God.
Are you prepared for the killer wasps or
She's a
whatever?
prepper.
The murder hornets.
Murder hornets.
Yeah, hornets.
Murder hornets. And then the locust will come down and descend upon us and eat the murder locust. And then Jesus will come back and that'll be a day. There you go.
This was my moment.
I'm kind of curious if a semi-personal question, Nickey, because shocker, I've been in therapy myself, but do you like? I've never done group therapy.
It's great.
Is it?
Yeah.
Do you really feel comfortable actually talking?
It takes a while to feel comfortable.
Discussing your personal shit with other people.
It takes
and while you're in group therapy.
If you're in a group that is designed for people like you, then it doesn't take long to feel more comfortable.
Do you hope and pray that while you're in group therapy that somebody's more fucked up than you?
Well, you always feel like they're all more fucked up than you.
Oh, you do? You do?
I think you're more fucked up than them.
Sarah and Amber, have either of you?
Dino, this is your group therapy.
Every
Tuesday.
It is. Have either of you gone down the therapy route over the course of your lives as well?
Oh yes, please.
Yes.
I need that. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Amber.
Oh, I've tried several times and I just don't have the money.
He's already drunk.
Just gonna. I
don't have the money, but I have this scrunchy hair clip that gets me through everything. Yes. Okay.
I'm gonna be fine.
Interesting.
I definitely want to, and then the moment I really decided that I needed it the most was like the week that I was off my parents' insurance, and that was years ago. So just gonna hopefully die soon or something like that. No. That's crazy talk. I know, but my mental health is a little bit better than it had been previous years, so I'm lucky. I'm fine. Chilling.
If there was a quality in each of you that you would like to, as you've had this introspection, if there was a quality about yourselves that you would want to improve, what would it be Like, as you sit home these last 2 months and say, I'm this, I'm not this, I am this, I'm not this. I would like to be better at this.
I'm amazing. I don't know. Like, I'll be honest. Like, I've had pretty much an existential crisis over this whole time. Being non-essential, that has fucked with me a lot. Like, that has caused like some deep like soul hurt.
That's interesting.
I'm not kidding. It really has. But it doesn't make me like myself any less. I think that I've dealt with everything the best that I can, with the way that I can. And if we're going back to the pride thing, like, I'm proud of myself to this point. I haven't done everything perfectly. I've spent a lot of days on the couch. I have watched and rewatched things that didn't need to be watched or rewatched, but like, but that's okay. Like, this is the way I'm coping and I'm dealing. And I feel like that's all right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys gauge your happiness on a day-to-day level? I mean, you wake up, like, I'll be honest, I wake up some mornings and I feel like the weight of the world is on my shoulders. And I can tell it's going to be a shit day. And there's some mornings I wake up and I'm like, I'm full of enthusiasm and I'm full of ambition and I get shit done. So is it a day-to-day thing, or is this something you have to actually, adapt and adhere to in order to get through?
Yeah, Dino, I'm a lot like that too. There are days that I just can't, and then there are other days that I feel really motivated. Putting myself into a routine and having, a schedule for my day and for my week helps. I mean, it's necessary also with a toddler, but yeah, that's helped a lot. But there are some days that I just feel terrible, and then I think, okay, well, I'll try again tomorrow.
And when you have the terrible days, Amber, Sarah, how do you deal with them?
Weed.
Medication.
What if she took my answer? I'm almost out of edibles.
This is where envy is my 7 days.
There you go.
Me too.
I can't do it.
Now they all come out.
A recovering drug addict here can't touch the weed. So
Yeah.
You're
So
great.
we kind of skipped the answer. What would you want to improve about yourselves if there was anything at all? I mean, you said, Sarah, that you like how you are and the fact, but Amber and Nickey, if you could improve something about yourself after all this, what would it be?
I think I'm very fortunate to be in the position that I am. I have the option to work. I don't have to every day. It's not like I'm working a ton. I'm very happy being at home with my dogs. I'm very happy that I broke up with my ex when I did, or otherwise he would be here. So Jesus Christ. And I'm
dodge that bullet.
Yeah. But like,
There goes the toilet
personally,
paper.
I'm proud of myself for like realizing I can only control so much each day. If I make a to-do list, like, if I get a couple things knocked off there, that's fine. And then, if the other half of the day I get sad and feel terrible and I want to lay on the couch and I want to binge Ozark, I'm fucking going to. But I think one thing I want to improve is like, I want to be a little bit less harsh on myself when I don't complete an entire to-do list. Like I'm like, I have all the time in the world. Why can't I do this? It's just, you have to kind of go with the flow and read your emotions as they come. And I think it's a really beautiful thing for me personally. And it feels selfish to say that I have the time to be able to, put things off, and I don't have a toddler, and, I get to go to the store probably more than Sarah and feel way more safe. And that's a luxury. And I feel, I don't know, but I want to be better about, forgiving myself for not doing shit. And then like, also, I think, I don't know, staying motivated and finding a good schedule that feels healthy and fine, and just finding that balance of like forgiveness and like actually progress. I don't know.
I noticed that when I talked about the 7 deadly sins earlier, that none of you three even gave lust.
Amber had her cheeseburger.
Yeah, you can lust for other things.
A passing fancy, not even respects not just sex, just in general, a lust for life, food, film, nothing. It didn't even factor in the equation at all.
Y'all are terrible in the best of times.
I got a lust for death.
I'm trying not to have another
list.
Oh my God.
You can see my list on the wall. These are to-do lists. And like I'll get to them lists. So one is like a daily and one is a whenever you have the time, and they're fun to haunt me while they're there.
Oh, I'm looking over those lists right now.
Well, it brings me up to my next question. What makes you
I want to plow those lists.
What makes you feel? Has anything made you feel guilty through all this?
Ooh, not working out. That's been an issue of mine for a long time. Like I have a lot of self-beat up about fitness and food, and that's just shit I got to deal with. And I finally just gave that up like 3 weeks ago. Like this is just not something that like is working for me right now. I'm gonna move in the best way that I can, and then like that's it. Like fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm laughing. It's funny.
Nickey?
I feel guilty for realizing how little I do around the house. Gabe is really doing a lot, and he's amazing at it. He calls himself Housewife Man. That's his superhero character.
That's Housewife Man.
Housewife Man.
Does that come with a cape or
it comes with an apron?
I know it comes
rubber gloves.
I know it comes with a mask these days, so that's a no-brainer. But
I'm feeling lust.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, he cooks amazing meals, and I feel like we share fairly equally in the cleaning department, but he's been killing all of the ants, which has been really great.
Damn ants.
And but he does the majority of the cooking. He does all of the grocery shopping, which is fantastic because I'm very scared to go to the stores.
Mm-hmm.
So and
is he working from home or
this is his work from home behind me?
This is his work.
Part of him letting me
a shout out to your husband. His work is freaking amazing.
It's beautiful.
He's a gifted artist. He really is. He really is.
Art of GG. Hashtag Art of GG. Art of Gabriel Geyer. If you're on Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah. Really amazing stuff. Really amazing
on Twitch. I'm using his Twitch studio right now, so you can watch him do art, which is like very ASMR. Watch him do art. Usually on weekdays from like 1 to 5.
Is that some of his work behind you?
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is some of his work behind Nickey, right? That's his stuff.
And when he's not doing this, he's making amazing meals and taking care of our son. He takes care of our son in the mornings, which is the hardest time. I get the afternoons, which he naps for a good portion of.
Right.
But I'm working from home in the mornings, and then he works from home in the afternoons. So we're splitting the day as far as childcare.
I'm going to ask a very self-indulgent question. In the course of all this, that has he said, I make beautiful art. We have a beautiful son. We're sitting here at home. Want to make another baby?
We are absolutely trying not to make another baby.
Me too.
Yeah. Practice what it's
Congratulations, Sarah. On your success.
Congratulations. No, I'm feeling so good, you guys. Like, literally, nobody's even slid into my DMs. So like, I'm so good. Not that I want to see anybody's COVID dick, but like.
I mean, what's that?
What's during this time? I'm very curious.
I mean, what's that? I didn't hear the question.
Are you guys getting, not you guys, but the ladies, are you getting more or fewer dick pics?
None dick pics.
I love that. That's a great answer.
Hi, Jason Banks.
Hey, Banks is joining us. Jason, speaking of dick pics, Jason Banks is joined in on the chat.
Amber, are you getting dick pics right now?
So I'm not getting dick pics, but was somebody that I hooked up with before quarantine, and they just kept putting stuff on my porch, and I had to ask them to stop.
What were they putting on your porch?
Dick.
Food and not dicks. Luckily, I'm very happy that it was food.
Dick-shaped food, right?
Yeah, just a
little
bunch of,
macaroni.
just like a bunch of stuff, like beer and like food. And I was like, "Is this poisoned?" But I was like, it's like sad because it was one of those things where I was like, "That's somebody I was happy to be like, oh my god, no way, we can't hang out because of the corona." And then they were like, "Gifts," and I was like, "Stop coming to my home." But
he's courting you.
Yeah, and I realized that I didn't want the dick.
As best he can in this pandemic. He's courting you. Aren't you at the on some level a least bit flattered or
no
or weirded out?
I was like, you got to stop coming to my porch.
That's very invasive.
It is invasive.
It was invasive. There was one day I pretended to be asleep until 3 p.m. because he said he was outside smoking a cigarette and he was going to wait until I woke up.
I would have called him.
No,
Okay.
Jesus.
That's a little creepy.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
I'll just be here in the morning, just waiting.
Is he aware of all the things that you're doing online? Like, could he be watching right now and just not chiming in to see what you're saying?
He could be.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Thanks for the beer.
No, but no dick pics. But I've gotten requests for, would you like to see this? And I said no.
Well, that's nice that they're asking for.
That is nice that they're asking.
That is nice.
That's nice.
And it was like 2 people, and it was years ago.
Politeness in the pandemic. You know, they're asking first. Have anybody? You know, you guys. Nickey said, "Are you getting any dick pics? Have you had requests for?" You know,
for what?
Excuse me. For what? Yeah, Dino, why don't you say it out loud?
Just say the word. If you could say dick, you can say whatever this is.
I don't even know what this is.
A cheese board? I've gotten lots of requests for cheese boards.
I don't know.
So many possibilities.
Flat piece of paper.
Salami.
I'll admit, God damn it, I'm uncomfortable saying it because I would never ask a woman to show me
sun-dried tomatoes.
Send me a tit pic. Send me a this pic. I would never ask that. I would never ask that.
Just one tit, righty or lefty. Which one do you want?
You know what? Pick your favorite. Pick your favorite.
Cagney or Lacey? You want Cagney or Lacey?
Pick your favorite one because we all know they're both not equal and the same. So pick your
now
favorite.
you've gone too far.
Now you're asking pick favorites.
I believe in equality.
Unfortunately, one of my tits does get paid more than the other. I hate it.
Is it because it's a man?
Yeah.
Hey,
one of my
man tit.
One of my tits is a man.
Oh, okay. Here's the polite version. Ralph says, Dino, it's called "Show Me Your Garden Party." Really?
No.
That sounds.
Sorry.
Creepy.
I don't like it.
Fucking Ricky Nelson song reference.
Supporting someone at a tea
went
gathering.
to a garden party. Oh man! All right, so as we get, if there's let me just assume for a second that the three of you know each other very well. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you've all worked together. You hung out together. You're all friends together. Let me get past the pandemic. Let me go into the future a little bit, and close on this stupid question. If one of you were to become super famous in the months, years to come, all right, and if you could sell your famous friends' secrets to a tabloid for a lot of money and have them not know that it was you that did it, would you sell a secret that has been discussed privately and quietly amongst yourselves for cash?
No.
I would not sell one, but if you got me drunk enough, I would tell one.
And you could quote her.
Yeah, I really do. I have to be really careful about getting too drunk with people because I'm immediately like, I have so many secrets and I tell them all. It's bad. I don't enjoy that part. If we're talking about parts of myself I don't like and I want to change, it's that one.
Okay, so we know you would make a shitty spy, is what you're saying, Sarah. Terrible spy. Terrible. Amber, Nickey, would you do it?
I am kind of a cliffhanger queen.
What's that mean?
I love a cliffhanger. Like if we're hanging out, but like let's say we're like at a table with a couple people and they can't know something I want to tell you. Like as soon as they come back, I'm like, I'll just tell you later. But there's so much more to this story. Like, oh my god, and you'll freak out. And everyone's like, oh my god. So I love to make people wait for like that fucking sweet juice. But I usually
sweet juice.
Yes, I'm just like, I can't. I mean, they're back. But like, so I don't like drama. But like, if I have something I'm allowed to say, I just want to make you fucking wait and work for it. So
because you want them to come back.
I don't know. I'm just a jerk.
Yeah, you like an audience. you want them to come back. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
So yeah, I just hold shit over people's heads like a big butt.
All right. Well, we're getting close to wrapping up. Is there anything that either one of you want to share or say or dispense as far as advice or a message before we start to wrap things up here tonight? And if not, that's fine too. But if so, let it run, let it roll.
Well, that's so open-ended.
Yeah,
I know. I want it to be. I want you to.
Here, I will say, let's see, going back earlier.
No, not you, Hansberry.
No, I'm asking a question. That was
all right.
Rudy asked. We were talking about Amber's dogs. Is George Michael named after the singer or the Arrested Development character? And why? No kidding.
So, who's supposed to be talking? Because I can't hear Hansberry.
What at all?
Okay.
The question was, you're in my golden jokes land all night.
The question was, George Michael, named after the singer or the character on Arrested Development?
He was named after the character on Arrested Development, but he was named George Michael because I had a cat named Lucille who was a total bitch, but then she got hit by a car on Easter and now she's dead.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh, no.
And that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to end on a dead cat. There you go. No.
All praise be to the real George Michael, the singer, as well, because he's the best.
Okay. There you go.
All right. Anybody else? Sarah, any parting comments before we call it a night?
My only parting comment is just a general one during a global pandemic or whenever. Don't be dicks to each other.
Yep.
That's pretty simple.
Yeah.
And yet seemingly very difficult to obtain, because I see a lot of dick moves on a daily basis still as we speak. So well put. Nickey Winkelman.
Get therapy.
Yay for therapy.
Yeah, and
you're rubbing it in my face.
I think that something needs, like Amber was saying, a lot of people can't afford it, and so something needs to change politically and in this country and with insurance so that people can get therapy. Because I have a lot of people have been saying, reopen the country, I'm depressed. Well, reopening the country doesn't cure depression. You may think that that's going to make you feel better, but if you're locked inside and feeling depressed, you may have already had those things that are making you feel depressed, and you're just now realizing it because you are inside.
Do you think that a lot of people that maybe didn't realize that they had a depressed nature, this is maybe a pulled the cover back and like, oh, the fuck, yeah.
You're left with nobody but you. I mean, I've got a lot going on in here, but so I'm never really alone. But
Are you social distancing?
I understand what Nickey's saying.
Yeah, but
more than any of you realize.
I think there are outside things that can contribute to a way a person is feeling, and that's absolutely valid. I'm not trying to say that anybody who's feeling depressed because they can't go outside or they can't see people, that their feelings are invalid. That's not it at all. But I don't know if reopening things is necessarily the way to cure depression. What the country needs to do is healthcare reform so that more people can get mental health treatment to fix, their mental health issues, whether that be medication or talk therapy. I don't take any medication for my mental illness. I do all just therapy, but whatever works for each person. But I think if you're feeling depressed and you don't have your usual open mic to use as therapy, get a fucking therapist.
Oh no, I mean that's been kind of an outlet for all of us. I mean, sometimes it translates into humor for the audience, but what the audience doesn't know is that sometimes that has been our therapy to get up on stage and tell jokes and that was one of my questions that I actually skipped earlier. I was kind of curious: is your comedy persona the same as your real persona? Or is it an exaggeration of who you are, or is it a completely different person from who you are? Not from an improv status, Sarah, I know you deal with the situation, but for Amber and Nickey, who actually do stand-up, is who you are as a comedian the same person you are? Are you the same person on stage as you are off stage?
I think it's all of the things. Some of it's me, some of it's another character, some of it's parts of me. I think, finding your voice as a comedian is something that you
never stop doing. You never stop doing.
Yeah, you never stop doing.
Amber?
I would say that when I first started, I was very much a character, very much kind of honing a different person to express a lot of things that were hurting me. And then over the years, I didn't want to be that hurt person anymore. And I do want to be myself on stage, but yeah, like Nickey was saying, you're very much kind of always struggling to find what that means even. And sometimes I'm not having a good day, but I still have to get on stage, right? And then you have to be that person anyway. And that's always like a struggle, but
it's a struggle, or sometimes it's a good thing, to kind of forces you to step out of the dark. And Sarah, I'm not leaving you out of this at all. When I say that, you do the improv shows, do you channel some of that as well, through improv?
Oh yeah. I would say my improv persona is very much a heightened version of me. I tell people all the time I'm a closet introvert, but like my stage persona is not introverted at all. Like I've been fine not seeing people this whole time. That hasn't been a problem at all. I'm super good. That part has been fine. But yeah, on stage I'm big and I'm loud, which I'm not at home.
Interesting. Well, I'm glad that you've all been kind of big and loud and open and honest tonight. This has been a real treat for Whiskey Business. Personally, a real treat for me. I think you're all three extremely talented, and I can't wait to work with you all again on an actual stage. I hope that we go back to Shadow Box. Amber, you have to do the premise. These two ladies have already done it. You need to do it as well.
I'd love to.
So I would love to have you on that when we actually get back to Shadow Box live. And I can't thank all three of you enough for being so generous and gracious with your time, your talents, and your openness this evening. So a nice round of applause from the Whiskey Business crew and for all those tuning in at home, for Nickey Winkelman, Sarah Storer, and Amber Falter. Ladies, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We really do. Stay right where you're at. Hansberry's got to do some closing things, and I'll say another goodbye before we go. But before we go, Greg, some closing business for those who missed it in the front.
Yeah.
And maybe need to go at the end here.
If you've been watching this or listening, share it, please. The word of mouth, the grassroots effort is humongous, and we appreciate all you guys commenting live. We do this once a week live now, more or less, here on Facebook and YouTube. So we ask you to subscribe to Whiskey Business on YouTube. It's Whiskey Business with Dino Tripodis, and then click on the little bell icon wherever it is, and we'll send you notifications when we have a new episode or when we go live. Same thing with Facebook. If you're watching this now live or not, share it, watch it, comment, like us, subscribe on your favorite podcasting app. As you are quarantining, we've got like 3 years of episodes. So if you're want to plug in some earbuds and zone out your family, have a great time.
Your uterus, my uterus is a bounce house. Go back to the archives and listen to completely unedited Sarah Storer and absolutely hysterical and insightful podcast.
And our premises too that we haven't been able to do, which were live comedy show performances. Anyway, just find us. We're on the Instagram, the Twitters, the Quibi. Quibi.
We're not on Quibi.
Wait, I thought we were on Quibi.
We're not on Quibi. We're not on TikTok.
No.
Yet.
And our newly designed website, whiskeybusinesspod.com, where you'll be able to see our Quibi shows.
Yeah, check that out. I just want to say a couple of comments, because I never get a chance to really look at the comments because I'm trying to stay engaged with my guests. But Matt Matique says, great show, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Matt. Sarah Miller says, you ladies are all amazing. Thanks for entertaining us tonight. Ralph Scott says, brilliant work, all. Great stuff, ladies. I really enjoyed watching. That's from Johnny Phillips.
Johnny, I don't.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah. Jason Banks just says, yo.
No, he clapped at the end.
But you know what that means. That means that's a yo from Jason Banks is oh, well, I'm sorry. There's also a hey from Jason Banks earlier. Yeah,
that was a while ago. I like how Doug Anderson. I don't know if you guys know Doug. Very enjoyable. Thanks.
Very enjoyable.
Very enjoyable.
So
please, sir.
So if you've done nothing else tonight, ladies, you've shared yourselves in a great way tonight with the whiskey business people and the whiskey business fans to come when they watch this later on YouTube or on Facebook or listen to it later. So again, I sincerely thank you. I think it was quite the coup for us to get all three of you in one group this evening. I know it sounds like I'm gushing excessively, but I mean it sincerely. Thank you. I really do. All right. So as we start to wrap things up, many big thanks again to our audio producer, Greg Hansberry. There he is. Someday, Hansberry, if those were books, we would see what your album collection is all about. I would love to see all the books that Sarah was reading. Everybody's been dissecting the bookshelves behind.
I got Lou Reed up today.
Yeah, you got Lou Reed up today.
Yeah, nice.
Sarah's books are just distant enough that you can't see what the titles are. But, you said earlier that you have a very eclectic bookshelf, so I believe you.
She's got cozy chairs. I'll give her that.
You strike me as a well-read individual. And, of course, our video producer who makes all this happen, John Whitney. Yeah. John makes all this video stuff nice on YouTube. And, of course, you could check out tomorrow's Whiskey Wisdom, which Johnny has locked and loaded for you to check out tomorrow as
it's not locked or loaded. I don't even know what I'm going to be showing tomorrow, so I have no idea.
All right. So I'm a big fat liar. All right. Fair enough. Our guest bottle, in honor of the ladies, has been the Widow Jane. It's good whiskey. Is it $69 whiskey? Yeah. If this was between $39 and $49 a bottle, I'd buy it in a heartbeat each and every time. But it is good. It is good, and they also make some other products. The benchmark is about $13 a bottle. The Fine Buffalo Trace product. The Kessler. No. Sorry, no. And Amber, the old crow.
She's running
the old crow. Amber, have you tried? If you have lemonade, do you have lemonade? someplace? Can you make lemonade?
I did squeeze half of a lemon into it with my Canada Dry.
If you actually get some actual lemonade, Old Crow Lemonade is a delightful spring and summer cocktail. That's
sounds amazing. Thank you.
It is. It is. You're welcome. I'm here to help. So, and Hansberry, what?
I accidentally drank the high.
Oh man!
A treat.
Ran out of the other shit.
Your head injury is bothering you, I think.
You
Hansberry
got it,
gets staples
Johnny.
out. All right. Many thanks to everybody who tuned in. Many thanks again to Nickey Winkelman, Sarah Storer, Amber Falter, John Whitney, Greg Hansberry. I'm Dino Tripodis. Whiskey Business is a Never the Luck production, produced with the talents of those great guys. And until the next bottle, this way, that way. There you go. See ya.